Hello everyone, so here we are for another one of our DnDBeyond Homebrew tutorials. This will be the last of the main tutorials covering all the aspects. After this it'll be purely me going through how to make the different UA that have come out in the past or current. So with this, we've done all the player options, so now we're on to monsters. So again, go to collections, select a monster. You can pick one as a template or pick one new. I would recommend picking a template purely for a bit of added complexity that has recently been added to the system. So a perfect example here, we've got an aspect of Bahamut. The reason I've chosen this is because it kind of covers all the bases. So obviously you've got to give it a monster name, you've got to pick a monster type. Subtypes will be, for example, if you pick a fiend, is it a devil, a demon, a Yugoloth? If it's a dragon, is it metallic, is it chromatic, is it gemstone? If it is a humanoid, is it a goblinoid, is it an elf, a dwarf? Basically, if you think there's a subtype, an often used subtype, as you can see here, some examples, half dragon, half elf. Size is also important, going from gargantuan to tiny. If it is a swarm monster, I've never really used this myself, but this will generally be what the monster is a swarm of. Obviously, this actually lets you pick all the monsters in the manual, so you could have a swarm of aboleths. I don't recommend you ever do that, but that's your choice. So you have your alignments where you could go any specific kind of alignment, a very specific alignment, they're typically in alignment, they're unaligned, challenge rating. You cannot manually set the proficiency bonus, so the challenge rating will set what the proficiency bonus of your creature is. I'm going to briefly show you what this monster looks like normally. So anything that goes here, this would often be where you put spell casting or more general abilities, will go here in special traits. Obviously with spell casting, you would either list how many spell slots they have or how many times they can use spells a day, and then use the spell tags to quickly be able to link on the sheet to spells. Actions, now this is why I recommend you use a template, is purely for the dice roll commands. So with the combat tracker now soon to be entering beta, leaving beta, meaning everyone has access to it, you as a dungeon master can use the dice roller for your monster stat sheets. But to do that, you have to put in these dice commands. I will be linking to this document here, which is adding rollable tags to the combat tracker. So it's broken down to a lot of parts. You would need dice notation, what the type of roll is, roll action, if it's damage, what its damage type is. It is a lot to get your head around initially, so I recommend using templates at least to begin with. But you're going to need to put a dice roll in for hitting. So here it's rollable plus whatever the number is out of brackets. Then you need to put dice notation for what the actual roll is. So in this case 1d20 plus 19 because it's got plus 19 to hit, roll type to hit, roll action, the actual action name, and then you need to do it again but for the damage. And as you can see here, it's 1 for the piercing damage and then a second roll for the force damage. But any action you would put in here, you also got to remember to do it rolling a d6 for your recharge. Close that. Yep. So your actions will end up coming up here. It lovely will split it up for you, and then you've got reactions, bonus actions, monster characteristics. This is the bit that goes at the bottom here, the description. And then if it's a legendary creature, you need to tick this box and add a legendary action. If it's mythic, you need to tick this box and add mythic actions. And then if there's a lair, just tick this box, add lair. Most of this is reasonable. Obviously, when dice is needed, you add the dice rolls, much like we've discussed with feats and other feats, subclasses, races. If you want to add conditions, use the condition tags. Same with items, spells, anything like that. You need to put an armor class, and you need to describe what the armor class type is. It won't let you leave this blank. If you don't have one, just put natural armor. Passive perception you manually set. Now here it will ask you for hit die count, hit points, die values, so in this case it's 30 d20s. Hit point modifier, this is what you would generally call you're adding the constitution, so whatever this is times whatever that is, and then you try to work out average hit points. This will be what the system generally assumes the hit points to be, and then obviously manually set the scores. You only have to put in these numbers, the pluses will be automatically calculated. Again, as I said, proficiency bonus will be determined by the challenge rating. Saving throws you put in here, just click, pick the option you want. Damage adjustments, so for each damage it will list each damage type individually, and you can pick vulnerability, immunity or resistance. Obviously got all resistance, all but force radiant, psychic. Bludgeoning, piercing and slashing are grouped together with the from magic weapons, metal weapons, non-magical attacks that aren't adamantine or aren't silvered, or is all the variations that monsters currently use. Condition immunity, to just pick your conditions, and then monster environments. If you want to specify what environment it is in, they're very generalised, go there. You can't set manual ones. You can't go, for example, they are found in insert name of country or city there. Language no override, so you manually put in your languages here, you add a language and then you pick the language. This is for example, if you were to put a dragon knows Common, Elvish and Draconic, but then you would put here it only knows those languages, it cannot speak it. It understands it but cannot speak it. Or another one with Undead is to go, it only knows languages it would have known in life, if you're going for a generic monster like a zombie. With the note section is where you would often put telepathy as a language, and then in the notes you would put the range. Obviously the avatars are for if you've got some custom art to put on monster tags. So senses, these are dark vision, blind sight, true sight, the special senses, and then in the notes you set what the range is. You have to manually put each skill in. All of these work the same way, you just manually put in. It will not take the skill number and the proficiency bonus and add them together. You manually have to put in what the value is. What this does mean is if you were to put expertise on a creature, you would just manually enter the expertise here. And then movement is your walking speed, burrow, fly, swim, and then you just set what the speed is as a number here, and it will appear on the sheet. Obviously it will lay it all out here. This is where your large avatar would have been if you would input that. Monsters are fairly easy, fairly simple mechanically to put in. It's just a lot of data entry. The biggest difficulty is the new dice rolling. I will be 100% putting this in the description down below for you to read through, use for your own notes. And yeah, with that we have done all of the UA building for each of the elements. Sorry, not UA building. We've done all the homebrew building on D&D Beyond. I will now be going through and doing less regular videos for D&D Beyond Homebrew. It will be going on to the playlist for the homebrew tutorials, where I go through older UA and show you how they were done, how I've done them in the homebrew editor. The only exceptions will be I will try to be very prompt on putting out videos where new UA comes out, on showing you how to make them. So yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the description down below. If you have anything you would like me to show how to make, or any UA you would want to see made, put them in the description down below. And yeah, we will see you all next time.